guys, welcome back to A Well of Inspiration. My name is Erika and I hope you're doing really well. A few years ago, I posted a video called Moving to Another Country, Just Go. I'll link it down below and maybe somewhere over here. Just talking about my experiences and, why I decided to move to the UK, what I gained from it, and why I thought that you guys should do the same. And I received an overwhelming amount of responses from you saying that you've been really inspired, and just a bunch of questions that I was getting back to you guys about. But I thought it's really hard to kind of convey a message or information across in an email, and I thought it would be a great idea for me to make a video for you guys. And instead of making one video, I'm going to be making 3. I want to make a video series based on all the things that you need to know about moving to a different country, all the things that you need to prepare for before you're leaving, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. All the things that you need to be aware of once you've moved, especially during your first month there, so that'll be video number 2, and all the things that you will gain while you're there, and all the things that you will gain once you've come back. I've been back now for almost 3 years, and I've had some time to kind of think about all the things that I've experienced, that I've gained, and how much I've grown up just in my 2 years in the UK. And I thought this would be a great way to let you guys know, to inspire you, and hopefully you guys will have some stories down below of either after you've watched my video and actually have decided to move and why you made the decision and kind of what you guys went through, or if you are trying to move and whatever questions you have, let me know down below and I'll try to kind of answer it in my next 2 videos. But here we go. Let's get into the video. All right, so because it's really hard for me to kind of remember everything about what I did when preparing to move to a different country, I put it in my little hopes and dreams pink and gold notebook. So bear with me if I'm looking down. It's because I have a list. Look, I'll show you. I have a little list. I'm really prepared about the stuff that I want to talk about. So first things first, you have to decide why you want to move, where you want to move, when you want to move, how much is it going to cost you to move, and have you been there before? So for me, why did I want to move? Well, there was a few reasons. One of the biggest reasons was when I was moving, the year following was going to be the London 2012 Olympics. It's been my dream to be a part of the Olympics, whether it's working at the Olympics, just being a spectator, and it was huge for me because I needed to be there, and it was just the right time in my life to do it. The second thing was I just needed to go. I just needed to go, be in a different environment, and grow up, because I had just finished university. I had just finished my first year on my first full-time job, and I just needed something to kind of inspire me, help me grow up, and become the person that essentially I am today. So when did I want to move? I had been to London before, twice, and that kind of goes along with why you want to move, right? So I had been there before and I had loved it. I've been there twice. It was great. And I had decided the second time around when I went that if I were to move anywhere, this was the place that I would move to. So I gave myself 2 years, and I said, in 2 years, I'm going to save up a bunch of money and just go. So that leads me to my next point, is how much money do you need to move? So that kind of goes along with another topic that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later, is the visa. So there's certain requirements that you need for the visa, and that'll give you kind of your starting point of how much money you need to move. But then obviously you need to make so much more, because you need to think about where you're going to live. That's going to cost you money. All the food, all the fun stuff that you want to do, all that kind of stuff is going to cost you money. And you have to kind of think about how much money do I need for me to be able to survive for at least 3 months without a job when I'm there? So for me, I kind of calculated it in my head. I actually didn't do too much math or, per month or whatever. I just said, this is the lump sum of money that I think that I need to move. And that's what I did. And I gave myself 2 years to accumulate all that money. And to be honest with you, it honestly only lasted me like a month and a half, because where I moved, the UK and London, it is expensive. And the Canadian dollar versus the UK pound, it's very minimal. So I went in, and this is something that you should think about, is what's the currency exchange rate? You should, if it's lower in your country than the country that you're moving to, you should probably save more. You should probably save the equivalent of what you think you need in the currency of the country that you're actually moving to. So for me, it was, how much pounds do I need to survive for 3 months, even though I only survived for a month and a half, but thankfully I ended up getting a job, so it worked out. So the next thing is you got to decide where you want to move. Like I said, for me, I had been to London in the UK twice before, so I kind of knew that that's where I wanted to move, mostly because I had already known the language, I already knew somebody that was there, and I fell in love with it when I've been there. So it's really important when you're thinking about where to move, why do you want to move there? And you have to do your research, because if you've never been there before, you need to know what it's like there, what the culture is like. Will you be able to survive in that culture? Will you know the language of that culture? Would you be able to learn the language in that culture beforehand and when you're there? And are you able to get a job in that country? And that's also very important, because you need a job to survive. So the next thing you should probably take into consideration is who's there. Do you know anyone that's there? Do you have a relative? Do you have a friend? Do you think you don't really need anyone there to help you? You could probably survive on your own. These are all things that you should take into consideration, because they will help you along the way. For example, I had one of my really good friends there already, and she was able to kind of show me what it is that I needed to do to set up when I was there. And I will talk about that in my next video, about if there's someone there that you could probably kind of use them to your advantage, and if they're a friend or a family member, they will be more than happy to help you, because they are probably excited that you're there. And probably the last and most important bit, especially if you're a little bit younger, is, do your parents know you want to go? You have to make sure that your parents know, because if you decide on your own, that's great, but you really, there's circumstances for everyone, but it's really important that whoever it is that you're living with, whoever it is that is your care provider, especially if you're younger, they need to know that you're leaving, and they need to understand why it is that you want to go, and they need to be on board. Sometimes they won't be, sometimes they won't understand, and if you feel like you need to do this for yourself, then you just have to remember that they might not be able to help you when you're there. So the better it is, the better the relationship that you leave behind. When you need them, when you're there, they'll be able to help you. So really make sure that your parents, your caregivers, whoever it is that you have, you're receiving help from in the country that you're leaving from, knows that you're going, and they know why. So all of this considering, the biggest thing that you need to take away from this is, when, why, where, who's there, how much money do I need to save? All of those things go under research. You must do your research. It's very important. Create a list of all the reasons why, create a list of, who's there, create a list of where you want to go, create, a budget, research things of what language, what's the culture, how can I make friends, what job can I do there. Sometimes, what it is that you're doing in the country that you're going from might not be recognized in the country that you're going to. For me, it was Canada and the UK are very similar, because they're, in the Commonwealth, and they're both English-speaking countries. So my move was a lot easier than, say, if I was moving to Japan or if I was moving to, I don't know, Germany. There's a lot of things that you need to take into consideration, and the more research you do, the better. So the last thing that I want to talk about is probably one of the most requested questions that I've received, and that's, how do I get a visa? And for me, it was much easier to get a visa to the UK than it would have been to get a visa anywhere else, because the UK and Canada are part of the Commonwealth, and the UK and Canada and places like Australia and New Zealand, they want youth to travel and experience different things. So they have what they call a youth mobility visa, which is a 2-year visa that if you're under 30 years of age, you can have, and you can go and live and work in those specific countries. And that's what I did. I applied online, and I can provide the link down below so you guys can see all the criteria that you need to get that visa. There was also, at the time, I had missed it, but there was like a general visa that you could get for 5 years and live in the UK for 5 years, and after 5 years, depending on the circumstances, you could get a citizenship. But I applied literally a month after that expired, and I was really sad because I probably would have stayed for 5 years. But then, you know, things happened and I didn't. But anyway, so I got the 2-year visa. So again, going back to research, make sure you research what it is that you need to go to the specific country that you're going to, because sometimes it won't be as easy. The second part of the visa is obviously the money. So there's a criteria as part of your visa application that you need to prove that you have a certain amount of money. So it's something that you should definitely keep in mind. The visa application process is not easy. There's forms and forms and forms that you have to fill out. You have to be very, very detail oriented and make sure you don't miss something. You need to have references. You know, it's not easy. It takes you a while to do. It took me probably a month to kind of gather everything that you need. And there's so many different links and so many different things that you have to read. And if you miss one thing, you have to, so for example, I missed a form. So when I went to apply, they were looking at my stuff and they were like, where's your this? And I was like, I didn't know I needed to do that. But they were like, no, you do. So we're gonna take your application and here's the form that you gotta fill out. So why don't you go home and come back and fill it out? And I was like, oh crap. Like, does that mean that they're not gonna accept me now? And they did, thankfully. But again, just make sure that you read everything and make sure that you have everything when you go and you're prepared. After I applied, it did not take very long for me to get approved. I got approved, I would say probably within less than a month, and it was really exciting. And then probably 4 or 5 months later, I was out the door and I moved to the UK. So to kind of sum it up, these are the things that you really need to keep in mind. Save lots of money to make sure that you're able to survive in the country that you're going to for at least 3 months without a job. Do your research, make sure you know what it is that you're getting yourself into. And 3, tell your parents or tell somebody that might be able to support you once you've moved. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you thought it was helpful and I gave you more information. I will provide as much as I can down below in the links, you know, regarding visas and all that stuff and anything that I've talked about. If you're interested, please stay tuned. I'm gonna post 2 more videos to kind of go along with this. As I said in the beginning, the next one's gonna be about what to do when you've first arrived into the country that you're in and how to survive your first 3 months. And then the last one's gonna be, you know, how to make the most of the time that you're there to make sure that you feel really great about your decision and whether it is that you decide to stay or whether it is that you decide to come back like I did, and how to make the most of your experience. So if you like this video, and I have a few more other little like travel vlog videos on my channel, please make sure to subscribe. If you have any questions, just comment down below and I'll be more than happy to get back to you guys. If you really want, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm also on Snapchat now, so I'll link those below too. They're also kind of on the side of my channel and you'll see that. I think I also have, yeah, I have my Tumblr link there too, so if you want to follow me on all those social media outlets, go ahead. I post really random stuff all the time. It'd be awesome if I could see some of your stuff. And yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!